Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. I thought I'd do a video on my wrist crossbow, because I don't think I've ever actually done a proper video on this. Not like a HD one anyway, with these new cameras. What I'll do, I'll show you a bit of shooting later, and I'll just talk about it. And I'll tell you about how I'm going to make a new one soon. So this is the original sort of prototype one I made. And what I wanted was a wrist crossbow, or an arm crossbow, whatever you want to call it, that would be powerful, as powerful as a proper pistol crossbow, you know, and sort of look good and that, you know. It's more of a novelty kind of thing. But the reason I mention the power is because you could make this quite a lot smaller if you wanted to, a much smaller prod. But then it's not really going to have any true power. You see in films and that, wrist crossbows, and they're tiny little things. But really, with a little prod that was like half the size of this, it's not going to be very powerful, really, is it? You know what I mean? Whereas this is an actual prod from a pistol crossbow. So it'll be, you know, this could be a £50 or £80 arm crossbow if you want. So you basically just put your arm in, and the reason I mention it sort of being a prototype is there's some, well, they're not design faults, because I knew these things when I did it. It was just the only way I could do it. So you put your arm in, and you basically pull this lever down. When you pull this lever down, it will shoot the bolt. You pull the string back. The sort of things that are wrong with it, well, like I said, it's not really wrong because I knew about this when I was making it, is you have to take it off every time to cock it. And, well, that's it really. You have to take it off to cock it. So, there are ways around this, which I'll explain after I've shown you the shooting. But we'll just go over it first. So, it's got a £50 prod, held in by a bolt at the front. It's got a dual trigger if you need it. So I wasn't sure if this would always definitely work. What happens is when you pull this handle down, it pulls the, see, just inside there, pushes the string out of the groove like a traditional crossbow, you know, like a traditional pistol crossbow. But I also did it so that if that didn't work, you could just press down here as well to do it. And all it is there's just a wire that runs through the body of the crossbow to the handle. The part that goes around your arm is just fixed straps. They would be better if they was adjustable, and maybe if this was hinged here and here, there and there, so that they would flap tighten around your arm. But I just make things with what I've got. You know, every single thing, every part of this is stuff that I just had. I didn't buy anything, you know, just scrap and parts of a crossbow. So that's another thing I'll change, adjustable straps. But like I said, we'll go over that later. The body of the crossbow is just plywood, which you can see there. And then the bolt holder is just a piece of aluminium, and sides are aluminium, you know, these plates, and just screws. It was simple to make, probably took me a couple of days work, you know, probably 12 hours altogether. Got a sort of sight here. The reason I put these on, this doesn't need it. One good thing with these, if you have this on there, you can put a sight on it. But the other thing is it stops the bolts potentially flipping up. I always like to put a sight on just for that really. So yeah, the handle is just a stirrup from a pistol crossbow, foot stirrup. Bolt for the to hold the prod in. So yeah, you know, not hard to make. And as good as I could do at the time, but I've now got some other ideas. I've got plans to make a better version. So what I'll do now, I'll show you some shooting footage from an old video and talk about that while I'm doing it, and then I will we'll come back to this and I'll tell you what the new one will be. Right, so this is me shooting the crossbow. You can see me cocking it. You have to take it off, that's the only thing. Like I said, these were things I knew that you'd have to do when I made it. They weren't mistakes. So just putting the bolt in there, and then you pull the handle down. And then another thing with pulling the handle down, it's a slight safety mechanism. Well, not mechanism, but it stops your hand being high enough for the bolt to hit it. To pull the trigger, you have to pull your hand down. So it means you're moving your hand out of the way. Like your hand's never in the way of the bolt anyway, but it just makes sure it never is. So cock it back, put it back on. Yeah, so the new one, you'll be able to leave it on, the bolts will be on the side. But it's a good fun thing to shoot though. A little bit slow again, but you know, that was all known. Yeah, one thing is it is powerful. It's as powerful as any pistol crossbow, you know. Yeah, one last shot from the side, stick the bolt in, and then fire. Right, so that was the shooting footage, and you see, you know, it shoots good. It's just the only thing is having to take it off your arm every time. But there are easy ways to get around this, which I think I'll do next time. I'm going to make another one soon. Can't say definitely when. But I'm either going to make a similar one to this body part, or I may, just to make it easier, what you could do to make a wrist crossbow is cut the handle off of a old crossbow and use the body and the trigger mechanism of the old crossbow and build around that. But what my idea is you want to be able to cock it without taking it off. That's the main thing really, you want to be able to cock it without taking it off your arm. So I'm undecided about how it's going to connect to my arm. It could just be the same as this one, like this, and just have tightenable straps that you tighten, or like I mentioned, hinges here to have it. That's not the important thing. What the important thing is how you're going to do it so you don't have to take it off each time. So what I thought of, instead of a handle that moves like this, a fixed handle maybe coming from here, so it would still be the similar shape to this, but coming out, say like that, how that is now, but here, and you would basically hold onto the handle. It'd be a fixed handle with a trigger here that would pull a wire or whatever, and that way you could then have, similar to how traditional pistol crossbows are with the handle that you pull back and forward, you could then have one of those on here, so you would then hold the crossbow out, you know, with the handle, and then pull the thing back to cock the string, and then you could have bolts all along here. Let me just get one of the other crossbows to show you what I mean. What I mean by the thing to pull the string back with is this. So you would have one of these on this. I was going to do it on this one, but the problem was I don't think it would have worked anyway, because the crossbow isn't like hard enough on your arm. It's not like tight enough. And what was the other reason? Oh, and these plates was basically in the way when I did it, so I couldn't. But yeah, you could just cut the handle off, take the trigger off, take the trigger guard off, cut all that off, and basically just have the body of a pistol crossbow on something like this with a fixed handle at the front with trigger on it. That way you could just, I'll show you if I can get it on view. That's the only thing in this camera. You would pull the thing back, which would cock it, pull a bolt off of here, stick it in. Yeah, that'll be a future wrist crossbow, but this is the existing one. You know, and as you can see, it's good enough for messing around, and you know, it is actually a real genuine wrist crossbow that could actually do some damage, rather than the ones that don't. You know, that couldn't really, because they've got tiny little prods that are probably like £10. But they look good, they look really nice, but they're not realistic really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to visit my blog, links will be below. There's entries for this, I may link to this. And if you ever feel like supporting this channel, if you buy from GearBest or Amazon, use my links in the more info section, and then whatever you buy I get a % off, you know, and you don't have to actually give anything, you know, just whatever you spend I get a bit of it basically. Right, hope you enjoyed the video, links are in the description, see you later.